Questions for Obino?
How's practice been this week with the time off? It's different, it's the same.
Yeah, no, he's been tough. After the loss against Troy, I mean, if you was watching it, like we didn't put our best out there at Troy. They outplayed us in every game and out-toughed us on everything. I mean, we was more talented than them, but they had more heart than us. So the past two games have been, we got to create that heart.
How do you go about that?
Huh?
You can say you want to create heart, but what do you need to do to actually put that into practice, to actually create that heart?
Well, first of all, we have to bring our own energy, from the coaches to the players. We got to start from the locker room first. We got to bring that from the locker room. We got to talk to each other and tell each other that when we're playing games, we can't just come out sloppy and just going through the motion. We have to come in ready to play. It's not even in games too, even in practice. Have a mindset. Don't just take that practice off like, well, I'm not feeling it, so I ain't gonna go hard in practice, because that move to games.
When you look at App, obviously one of the top teams in the league, what makes them tough?
I mean, they're a big team. They got a good shot blocker. They got the same guys that they've had, I think, last year. I think they added maybe one or two. It was good last year. And those guys probably got stronger and got better. So I just think that, when you look at them, they look like a high major school. But we just have to come in and play our game. But we got to start by being tough and don't let them intimidate us. Okay, yeah, you guys are number one. So what? Just play your game.
When you look at how you guys have played on the road, obviously there have been some struggles.
Yeah.
There have been some good moments on the road as well, but how do you kind of find a balance there of coming out ready to play?
I think we got to start from practice. We got to start that mindset from practice. Mainly from our last practice before we get on the road, we have to practice good, and we have to come out waking up with a good mindset that, yeah, we're gonna go win this thing. Because that was why we was having success. The beginning of the season, I think we won three away games in a row. Everybody came in with a mindset. And we wanted to, go over there and show people who we are. So we just need to bring that back. I just have this feeling that we don't have that. We need to find that energy that we used to have. Because we have it at home. Sometimes you can see it at home that yeah, you really want to play, but we need to take that mindset away.
How long has it been since you've had a weekend off in February?
Oh my God, he
Going
felt.
back to high school even.
Man, he felt good. I'm not gonna lie. The two days off Coach Dan gave us, that felt good for me, and it felt good for Nate and also the other guys. Today in practice, I was jumping, dunking, like I had energy and all that. Sometimes stuff like that will break you. Sometimes some stuff like that will help you. I think it helped us today, and it's probably gonna help us against this game, because you just have that 2 days off of just rest. Rest your body, recover your body. There's, especially from the big guy standpoint. You get bump and hits and bruises and all that. Nate, my back hurt. Nate's shoulder. Everybody. So now, at least 2 days now. Give us a time to just rest the body and rest the mind. So we look ready today when we practice. We look really, really good. So I got a lot of confidence with the guys.
If you follow basketball long enough, early February can be a pain. Because, you're maybe 2/3 of the way there, but this 8 days off could be a blessing, you think?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, definitely. It's definitely gonna be a blessing. Hopefully, I ain't jinxing us. Hopefully, I ain't jinxing us, and then we go over there. Yeah, I got to knock on wood or something. But yeah, it might be a blessing. And if you think about it, we only got 6 regular season game. I keep telling them guys, man, he goes by real fast. time flies, games flies. So, and these 6 games that we play, 5 of them is going to be really, really tough. I mean, we got App State twice, got JMU coming, and then Georgia Southern and Georgia State. It's not easy to beat them at your house, you know. So, so I was, you know, I tell them guys, you know, we need to pick it up. You know, this is the time that everybody needs to start being at their best. From number 1 to number 16 guy. You know what I mean? You need to start bringing stuff in the table, and you need to be good at it. You know, so hopefully these 8 days helps. But at the same time, we got 6 games, and we can't just show up flat because we want to be in a good be in a good place in the conference, so that you're gonna have, you know, a couple buys or get in a good spot. You know, you don't want to start from the bottom and start working your way up. You know, because you know, I don't think teams have made it that way.
You even play desperate as a 6 seed because you're like, you know what, forget 6, we want to be 4.
Well, yeah, and I want to be top. You know, what I mean, I want to be, you know, top 4. You know what I mean? You know, you want to stay in a good place in the conference, and for us to do that, I mean, even if we lost, you know, a couple games that we should have won, you know, like ODU, 2 ODU games, we should have won that. You know, I keep telling them guys, stop games like that. It's gonna bite you in the butt, man. It's definitely gonna bite you in the butt. So now we just got to forget about all that, and you know, these 6 games, you know, we got to come playing. We got to come with it. You know what I mean? You have to be ready to play. You know, you can't be scared, because most of these games that we're playing is going to be pretty intimidating. You know what I mean? And like you said, App State, they're big, number 1. JMU is probably number 2 or 3. You know, and even if Georgia State or Georgia Southern, they're like, you know, middle, they're still good. Yeah. So we just got to come playing every single time. All right.
A tough loss. We needed that win. It was a tough loss. Hopefully he learned a lesson, but I don't ever see too many losses teaching anything. You know, I hear people say, well, you learned something from that loss. I don't know. I don't. So, you know, I hate that it happened. We got to be better than that. We saw things that we got to get better. Just because you see them and you tell them about it doesn't mean it's going to. That's why I think it's better to do it after wins, because they're more alert and they're more willing to accept what's going on. Their head's not down. It's up. So it was a tough loss. Come back here, we got 2 tough ones on the road. First one, really tough, Appy State. And I watched them play Toledo and took them at Appy State. It's a close game, which leads me into the Sun Belt. What about that weak conference? They're 10-2 against a good mid-major conference. 2 one-point losses, 1 close win, and 7 blowouts. Okay, now tell me about how weak that conference is. It's not. It's one of the better mid-major conferences, and they're well coached. Knew it last year. They were like that last year. Why do they have the reputation they got, in which writers have a tendency to write on reputation because they don't have time to look at the facts? The point being is that it's because of scheduling. If you go out and you make them play on the road at Wisconsin, I think Arkansas State, for instance, at Wisconsin, at Ohio State maybe, 2 blowout losses, your conference sucks, automatic. And that's tough. It's tough to go in those places early in the year, especially after you've already been pilfered by anybody that wants your best players. And then go right in and play Wisconsin. And I looked it up, this year, by games, we're 1-22 as a conference. Only win was James Madison at Michigan State by overtime or 1 point or something like that, when Michigan State was like 2-4. It's almost impossible to go on a road on a pay game and win like that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying you. And the point being is, it doesn't mean your team is that bad. It's just poor scheduling. You don't have a chance to get everything moving the way it's supposed to be. And we have to have that at a mid-major conference to take on these major conferences that have top 150 players. And if you do that, if our conference does that, then the reputation's not going to go away. Now, I think it helped with the Sun Belt playing the MAC, because they see the MAC doesn't quite schedule like that. They do a few, but not like we do. And they have a better reputation. And the reputations get you that bid to the NIT or something like that. It's definitely not going to get you a second bid out of your league. It's not going to happen. So, I think, though, that this past weekend shows you the strength of our conference. Our fan bases are getting good games in here, good teams, that you have to play hard every night or you're going to lose. And again, 2 one-point losses, 1 close game, 7 blowouts. So there's my opening statement.
When you look at what struggles you guys have had on the road, is it something about playing away from the Henderson Center, because you don't have too many of those here? Is there a different kind of vibe for the team on the road?
Well, the biggest odds in Vegas show that the home team wins most of the time, period. I don't care what it is, so who it is. Home team in basketball, it is the most toughest odds to go against is going against the home team. That's just the way it is. It's the way it's been for a long, long time. Now, when you say tough road trips, we did pretty good when we went down to Texas. Won 2 down there. 2. So whether it's harder or not, it doesn't matter. We got to go take them. So we got to prepare ourselves. It's going to be tough up at Appy. It's tough to play there when they put the altitude out there. Every 2 steps you take, there's an altitude sign that says "Get tired." But we're used to it. You get tired. But it's a tough place to play. And Toledo went in there, good, solid mid-major team, tops in the 1-2 tops in the MAC, got beat. And it's a tough venue, so we understand that. We're going to go in there and give it their best. And again, we're a 1-bid league, people, unless we change travel and scheduling and get it right. You're a 1-bid league. That's just it. And that comes from support. You can't have fan base that has 500 people in your audience. It's got to have 4 or 5 everywhere you go every time. And then ADs are more likely to give you a better schedule and a better flight plan, so that you're not wore out when you get there, and you've got the schedule right so that you're not beating yourself before you can get there. So it's important that they do that for this league if that's what they want. Other than that, we are who we are, and you got to come to the end, and you got to win that conference tournament. So we got to win the conference tournament. Now, we got to, every game to that makes us better to win that conference tournament. You win that conference tournament and you're in the first round of the NCAA, you go, well, what was your record? Oh, I don't know, but they made the tournament. So it won't matter. So we just got to make sure that we do the best we can to prepare for that 3 days, 3 wins, I think was all we'll need. I will bypass the first one. I think we're safe on that one. Could be 3 or 2 games, depending on whether we get 4th or 5th or 6th. We got to prepare ourselves to win those games.
When you look at I know you talked about they're one of the teams that have a bunch of returning guys that didn't build through the portal. They've kind of returned a lot of what they had last year. Is that what makes them tough?
Well, that's certainly one of them. He does a great job coaching, and they got some talent up there. They got guys that are older that have been in that program for a while, and especially the little strong kid that gets up into the middle and uses his body to score. But I think that's the way you do it regardless. I know everybody wants to look at it, how many did you win or how many did you lose, but it's also how many people can you get in the stands. And people will wrap around teams that they're familiar with their players, kind of grew up with them, especially communities like ours and Appy State, who, you see them every day. It's not a big city that you may never see them. You're going to see them. They're going to be out. You get to be a part of them. I think that's the best way to do it here. Now, can you use the portal at times? Yes. Certainly, we wouldn't want to bypass a Nate Martin. That's a good get. Kevon has been good and getting better. It's taken him a while, though, and we're almost halfway through, or more than halfway through. So, I just think it's best the least amount of times that you have to use it, the better. The longer we can develop kids and we're right, and it's on us to make sure we recruit the right kid, that by the time he's a junior and senior, he can play here and play at a high level. If they can do that, it's best to stay out of that. You can put in a freshman here or there, or a sophomore here or there to help, but they can't be carrying the load. The load's got to be carried by your seniors and juniors. And those, what it does, it reduces the amount of misses that you can have. Because if you get up there and you got 4 or 5 misses in the seniors and junior ranks and you're relying on a sophomore or a freshman, you're in trouble. So, we got to do a good job making sure those guys up there, Obina, Kerfman, Kevon, and Nate, they got to carry the load. Nutter can go in occasionally and help, but those guys have to carry the load. And you have to have at least 4 to 6 of those guys that can play, and then you can sprinkle in 1 or 2, get you to 8. Probably all you're going to play anyway in the tournament. And that's suffice. After that, and a lot of people don't realize it's a fan base, but if you're a coach, you will. After that, number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 in our case, we have 3 walk-ons. They better be the type of kids that play their role right, because they can destroy a team as fast as one's on the court. If their energy and your pep, it gets onto your team, and your team ends up with, not quite having the focus because 9 through 16 don't focus. They don't come out. They're in the locker room with them before games, and they're not really focused. That stuff pays off. And I showed them film the other day. We looked at the film of our game with, who was it we played just recently? Troy. We were down at Troy. I showed them film. Said, watch him when he makes a 3. Watch your bench. They're all standing up, and they're cheering like that. We came down here to 3. Well, that stuff is important. You don't think it is, but it is. It's important. You don't see it. And I got on them. I got on the coaching staff. I got on myself. That we have to start trying to make sure that the energy is right for a team to be of a winning situation. Now, I went even further after showing that game. I went back to John Elmore's team. Watch this. Then I watch Tavion's team in. They're all up. They're all cheering. They're all fired up into it. And so we're going to work on that. We're going to try to get that better. I think we have the kind of kids that once you show them that, they're going to they'll adopt it, and they'll come out the way they are, the way they should be. And that's going to make us better. So it's not just 1 through 8. It's everybody. And that's what you have to buy. And sometimes when you're the 15th guy and you go, well, I'm not playing, what difference does it make? Well, it does make a difference. And that's a hard concept. If somebody hadn't been experienced like me, or somebody else doesn't remind them, look, you got to show them, not just remind them, show them why and what it takes to be a championship team. So we got a lesson on that one, I think. And I think our kids will rally around the cause. They look good in practice today, so we'll see.
Does the 8 days kind of between games help re-energize the mind and the body?
I would like to say I know, but I don't. Again, it's rust or rust. I don't know. We'll find out when we come out. I've seen it work both ways. I've seen it help, and I've seen it get stale with it. I think we'll be okay. I liked our the day's practice, and I liked the one before we left. They were 2 hard practices. We're trying to be a little more physical defensively. That when they start to dribble, it's trying to get their body up on them and not keep a gap between them. When they throw the ball to the corner, just close all the way out. Don't give him a shot. Close all the way out. Force him baseline. He goes there. We're going to trap it. Everybody's got to get in their position. But it was like I was telling them, if you want to play, a lot of people look at all the good plays. Those don't beat you or make you win either. They help. Don't get me wrong. You got to make considerable amount of good plays, which we'll do. We got the talent to do that. But it's the ones that you're not supposed to make. The bad decision, out of position, lack of focus on a rebound, lack of effort, those are the ones that beat you. And if you make 1, 2, 3 good plays, it might help you win, but that won't make any difference. I mean, that won't be the final reason where you win or lose. If you make 1, 2, 3 bad mistakes or bad decisions, lack of hustle, easy stuff that you shouldn't have, that'll beat you. And you have to understand that. And a good example, I talked to Keybon, which had a good ball game. But after he had got one, I think he went down, tried to score over the big kid and got it blocked. On coming down, he didn't run back and get in his position. Guy drubbed on Nutter, laid it up. That beat you. That beat you. Even though he might have had 20 points or 22 points, it wouldn't matter. If he doesn't get back there and stop that one, those kind of plays right there beat you. And you have to eliminate those. And we're trying to get better at it. And that's what winners do. Winners make the right play, the right position, and don't make those kind of mistakes. And that's the difference. It's not the guy that shoots a fall-away jumper and makes one. Okay, that's good, but that's that right there. If he doesn't shoot that one, Cam Kerfman might shoot one from the corner, or Obina might get a layup. So you get that. You make that mistake, they get a layup, it's over. So you can't make that kind of mistake. Sometimes we always want to just play the guys that make big plays. I've seen those type of teams a lot of times. In fact, I was in the pros with a couple of them. They don't win championships. They're a pretty good team because they can make good plays. They got talent. They don't win championships. We want to win a championship. I think so. You know, I trust my kids, so I like my team. I like the players who are on it, so I trust them to do the right things. Now, can we come up short? Maybe. But I don't mind coming up short as long as we're trying to do the right things. We're eliminating the bad things. And sometimes other teams just play really good. You know, the other team is involved in this winning and losing too. You know, it's just not all about you. So sometimes they just outdo you, especially in basketball, and that's why you have so many upsets, and that's why the NCAA tournament's so much fun, because you don't know. You might come in and a team like Florida Atlantic get hot, and the next thing you know, they're in the Final Four. And, you know, who would have thought that, you know? Well, they played right at the right times, and they might have played, I don't know who they played, but let's say they played North Carolina and beat them. They played better than they did that time, you know. If they played 10 times, it might be North Carolina winning 8 of them, and they win 2, you know. So that's what makes it fun, is that you don't know in tournaments. Once you get there, we should have beaten Texas State. They never shot 30, like they shot threes like they did against us. But they came in and they made them. It happens, you know. It happens. Is that it? All right, fellas. Enjoyed it.